time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Happy December, everybody. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. Monday morning, Yorkie. Listen, I know it wasn't great on the West Coast. And while the Sens might not always be winning, this show is. We got two contests to go through today.
Yeah, Wally, look at you bringing it on Monday morning. Who says
Hey?
Who says you're grinchy? We're
Listen,
just giving stuff away. Grinches take stuff away. We're giving stuff away on this show.
I got a tree up that you haven't even mentioned. There's nothing over in your little party land.
Well, listen, you got to see our the living room. You saw where I did Charlie's Choice from last week, right under the mistletoe of the Christmas tree. Actually, we don't have any mistletoe up here. We do have the Christmas tree up, though.
Well, listen, we have two trees up in our house. One's real, one's artificial.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not grinchy. This house is decked out.
well, who's doing our? Is that Eric doing our social media posts again? Because there was a beautiful picture. Was it you, me? Was that Charlie in the background of that post that came out?
Listen, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a sec.
So good, so good.
First of all, this show is proudly presented to you by Bet365. Download the app today. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365. Two contests. One, we're giving away World Junior tickets to see Canada at Finland, or Canada versus Finland. I'm sorry. Oh, here it is. It's this. So we're going back to the food bank donation thing we did earlier in this year. Huge success. Obviously, this time of year, everybody needs a little bit of help. So for every $5 donation, you get one entry into winning tickets, 200 level tickets to Canada versus Finland on December 26th. Great Christmas gift. We're going to give it away on December 23rd. So 2 tickets. All you got to do is, if you didn't know it from before, make a donation to any food bank anywhere. Send us the receipt at cihsends@gmail.com, and we will get you into an entry. The more, obviously, $5 donations that you make, or if you make 20, it's 4 entries. I'll just make it clear. We will get you into a draw, and then we will take care of that. So that's exciting. Canada versus Finland.
Yeah, no, nice. The food bank's it's a great initiative, especially this time of year. Everybody knows it's a great charity. So, Wally, look at you. You are ungrinchy.
Okay, that's not now. You know what? Screw it. It's a good day today. The snow fell last night. The lights all sparkle. Here it is. Here now is our new. We call it the 12 Days of Christmas. Now, before you launch this, we would like to welcome, if you haven't noticed, the Gabriel's Pizza Box right here. Gabriel's is on board as a new partner. We're super excited. And so there's no better way to do it than to have them come on board right away and proudly sponsor our newest contest. So let's just play it, Jake, because I'm so excited.
Ho, 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 ho.
Well, okay. So, it's 12 days of prizes. There's 5 sets of Sens tickets. There's Gabriel gift certificates of $50 each every day. We got a Batherson jersey coming up at the end on the last day of the draw. So the prizes will rotate throughout the 12 days. 12 shows, if you will.
Look at Charlie's head peeking around the corner there, right behind Santa.
It's just chaos.
So much going on here.
So today we are going to give away 2 tickets to Thursday's game, which is the Pizza Line reunion game against Detroit, plus a $50 Gabriel gift card. So all you have to do is go to one of our social media accounts. We just picked Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky as the most popular. There's going to be a post here soon, just after the show. Eric was supposed to do it. He can't do it. He's hurt today. So I will get it up after the end of the show. You just have to underneath just tag Hot for the Holidays and or hashtag Hot for the Holidays, tag Gabriel Pizza, and we'll get you entered in. Tomorrow we'll announce who the winner is to the tickets, and then so on and so forth as the days go on. If you take a picture eating Gabriel's Pizza, we will add you an extra draw into the Batherson jersey for the last day of the contest. Okay. Hot for the Holidays is the hashtag. We will get you taken care of. We are excited to have Gabriel's on board. It's the Gabriel Pizza Hot for the Holidays. Yorkie?
I'm going to enter a ballot under Charlie's name. I'd love me a Batherson jersey right for the office in here.
So
I like.
he's on fire.
Yeah, he's been good this year.
Fanatics has donated the jersey. I've sent it to our friends at Valacat Sports, Rob Raystrick, who's putting the name and number on. It is, as of right now, not signed. I am working to get it signed. And actually, Yorkie, I'm just going to give it to you. You're going to take me.
Yeah. I'll take care of business, get that baby signed up. And what a prize that is right around the holidays. Good, Wally. I like it. You're just changing your reputation, aren't you?
There's a lot of good prizes. 5 sets of tickets to games.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. You're
$50 gift certificates for Gabriel Pizza. That's a party in itself.
Yeah. You're doing some good work here. You're gonna end off the 2024 on a roll here, Wally. Head into 2025. Who knows? Maybe you might get in the good guy club, eh? You might get in there.
Well, Christmas will be much better due to the great work that we do here. And thank you to Eric for the tickets.
Yeah.
So, should we get into the show? Can we play the song one more time?
Yeah,
this is my favorite part.
Yeah, I like it.
Ho, 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 ho.
Well,
ho, 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 ho.
having a good time, people rocking all night.
Who's doing the ho ho ho?
Ho, 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 ho.
Not you.
Doesn't really matter if it's rain or snow, don't care
Ho,
what people
ho,
say.
ho, ho, ho.
It's gonna be a rocking Christmas day.
That's Charlie right there.
Well, she's Santa moving, what's the way you groove
Ho, 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 ho.
That's good. Because you asked me, you sent me I got a frantic message from you on Friday night. Can you send me you got to do some ho-ho-hoing video yourself? So I'm like panicking and I got to get this out. You didn't even use it. Was it that bad?
No, it was. Yeah, it wasn't. This is better. So
Yeah,
you didn't. You didn't understand the assignment.
Well, it's just tell me the assignment, and then maybe I could do a better job. Anyways, who did the ho-ho-hoing? That was pretty good.
I don't know who it is. I just found it online.
Found it.
I can't believe you didn't give me credit for this, and you just thought Eric was doing it.
Wow.
Here's the thing: Eric's stuff is too good for that kind of nonsense. That's how when you complete nonsense, you know it's not Eric.
Yeah,
but he and I spent it was 4 or 5 hours together on Friday getting stuff ready for this little contest.
Okay, good. Okay,
yeah. So
all right. We're gonna get into the meat of things, or what's
okay.
going on here?
Well,
people are not happy right now in this city. There's a lot of Christmas is coming, but another November and another bad November here for Senators fans. People just want to know what's going on, Wally. They want to know.
Okay.
They want answers.
So here's Jay. Can we put up the November pane? They finished 393 points percentage. After 14 games in November, which, by the way, only the second time in the last 5 years they've won more than 4 games in the month of November. But it was the third worst winning percentage or points percentage they've had 5 years. Okay, so Yorkie, disappointing numbers. The road trip, it's 500, not bad for the West Coast. I didn't expect them to win against Anaheim just because it's the end of that trip and every legs get heavy. Yeah, really? I thought if they had a chance, they would probably be a little bit better against LA. And I know LA is a really good team. But let's say 500 isn't terrible. Look, in that game last night, I thought was a whole different. The second half of that game was completely different for the others. If they could play the way the second half was played, I'm all in.
No, and that's the frustrating part when you hear the coaching staff, when you hear Travis Street talk about the team, when you hear the players talk about the team, the fans are like, you see. It's more than glimpses. There's large chunks of time during games where this team plays really well, especially late in games. It's almost like they need a wake-up call earlier on. And how many times you heard this statement? You need to play with more urgency. What is that? What does urgency mean? Well, I'm going to do a video later. I'm going to show you exactly what it means when we get into. We're going to do a live Yorkie vid session here. I was going to post it last night, but it was late. I just gotten back from my trip, and you know what? You'd post a video. I said, let's just save it for this morning, and we could actually do it live. And I'm going to go over frame for frame exactly what happened on that one goal late in the second period with 5 seconds to go in the period. I know we're not doing it now.
Well, no, we can do it now. We just have to. Professor Yorkie in the building now for Yorkie vids. Listen, I can't spend $6 on this and not show it.
Yeah. So I'll go over this in a second. And, it's everyone, we're doing the Monday morning breakdown, right? You can stop it, Jake. We'll go through it in a sec. Everyone wants to do the Monday morning breakdown on what's wrong with this team. Why do they currently find themselves second last in the conference again? Because we heard it all at the beginning of the season, right? From players to coaches, everybody involved with this team. They need to be better. They got off to a better start. Everyone seems to have bought in when you're hearing them talk, but then you see another month go by and you wonder, why does this keep happening? And this was the goal, as I mentioned. It was what, 5 seconds left in the second period. And to me, like, I watched this goal about 30 times last night. I kept watching it, looking for little things, because when you first watch a goal get scored, it's funny too, Wally, when you see it in the States on an American broadcast, they always show, they'll show 5 replays of one pass and then the goal going in. And they're like, that guy should have had the guy around the net, and they let the guy stand around there. But every time there's a goal scored, there's 2 or 3 plays that lead up to the eventual goal that goes in. And to me, it's really telling what the Ottawa Senators have been doing in the neutral zone. They just haven't been good enough. And at key times in the games, they don't make it hard enough for the other team to get through the neutral zone. But then in the third period, Wally, like, how good was that line of Cousins, Amadio, and Pinto? I thought the third period was Cousins' best period he's played as an Ottawa Senator. I thought Amadio was really good, and he took a lot of heat on that goal. A lot of people were saying it was his fault.
All right, go to the goal, and then we'll go to the rest of the stuff.
Okay, so we'll start it from the beginning. I'm going to show people exactly what happened here. So right from the beginning, stop it. So right at the top of your screen there, you see the far left. The defenseman's going to end up scoring the goal for Anaheim. He's way off to the bottom, to the top of your screen. That's a defenseman right there. So if you watch initially, run it right here, Jake. The puck comes to him. Stop it. Just go back. Can we go back a little second there? Just a little bit. So stop it right there. So in the NHL, every team wants to do this. They want to call this denying lines. So you got about 15 seconds left in this period. You want to deny the red line, and you want to make sure that defenseman dumps the puck in. So you can see Amadio, he's right on the red line, and he's actually doing his job. He's going to make sure that this defenseman has to go around him. And then Pinto, who's in the middle of your screen here, is going to come over, and he needs to help Amadio out. So watch what happens. Run it here, Jake, and stop it. So you watch what Pinto just did there. He does a little bit of a flyby.
Yeah.
And because of that flyby, that one defenseman has been untouched right to the red line. So run it here. Here comes Cousins. Bottom here, stop it. Cousins right there. All that has to happen here, and the play is done. If you just make contact with that defenseman and don't make it easy for him to get by, you've eliminated your guy. Instead, it's flyby number 2. Run it here. Stop it. So that guy that just went by Cousins, he's eventually going to be the guy that scores this goal. So kind of what's going through the players' minds here, there's about 10 seconds left in the period. They're just thinking this defenseman's going to dump the puck in and it's going to be over. But this is what I'm talking about when there's little lapses in a game where you'll just kind of take your foot off the gas for a minute, because they had a pretty good period up until then. You're like, okay, we'll get in. It'll be tied going to the third period. But you just let your guard down for that split second, and you make it a little easy for Anaheim, and watch what happens. That defenseman right there, if you can run it, Jake. Stop it. He's all of a sudden, he's made it, Wally, from his own zone. Not one single guy on the Ottawa Senators touched him, and he's going to end up scoring the goal. So everybody's talking about Amadio didn't have the guy in front of the net. Yeah, he didn't have the guy in front of the net, but that guy should have never got to the front of the net. But all it has to do is it's just some plays early on, and this is when you hear a coach talk about a lack of urgency, a lack of details, and gifting goals. And to me, this is an absolute gift that you just can't give to a team when you're on the road, You're playing your back-to-back game, and it's a key moment in the game where as soon as they got that goal, I'm like, as good as they're probably going to play in the third, these are the types of goals that make you lose hockey games. And it's just little plays. And I just find this team line changes. How many times have they had bad line changes?
Oh my God.
Right? So finish the goal, watch him score here because he's going to get 2 whacks here. Boom, boom, in the net. And everyone's saying, well, Amadio should have had him. That was his guy. Well, not really, because that guy made it through the whole neutral zone untouched. And that's what you talk about, why the neutral zone is so important in the NHL. You got to deny lines. You got to make it get tough to get to the neutral zone. And go through the play one more time. I'll watch it at full speed. Watch what happens too, Jake, is watch the defenseman's gap here. Stop it there. Look how far back the D are there. So that's a humongous gap. The reason that gap is so big is because they're anticipating a dump in. They're expecting the forwards to make it really tough on Anaheim's defense to get to the neutral zone, force a dump in, get back, and it's over. Now the gap is huge. You allow all that space in front of you. So it's just poor neutral zone at the end of a period. And to me, I was always told this, Wally, it's a privilege to be able to get your back touched by the coach and say, last shift of the period. And they're so important, Wally. And it's just, to me, it's this team just has too many breakdowns like this, where it's a nothing play that turns into something. So go ahead and run it again, Jake.
So can I ask a question here? Or
it's just crazy. Yeah. Anyways, to me, it's after watching it 30 times, it's so symbolic to me on what's been going on with the Ottawa Senators. It's just not being urgent enough and not realizing key times and key games when you can't make it easy for the other team. And I'll give this line credit. They had a great third period. Like I said, they're really good in the third, but they'll watch this video, they'll go through the neutral zone, and then hopefully they learn from it, but it just can't keep happening.
Okay, so we can lose the video. My question to you is, how does this, and I know this sounds really simple and stupid, how does this keep happening for a team that's urgently needing to get wins, playing this way, which they know how to play? So I don't understand. Like I just don't understand. We sit here at home and watch on TV and go, for the love of God, like just hit a guy, make it, like do something and not do a flyby.
Well, you saw it in the third period. Cousins had one of the biggest hits, probably the biggest hit he's laid all season. He came across and he just destroyed, I forget the defenseman's name, and the spark that gives you. Pinto gets nailed.
Is it not Gudis?
Yeah, I think it was Gudis. It's almost like this team, and I'm not going to say everybody, because when the puck's dropped, Timmy Stutzle is engaged. Like, he is flying out there. I think Kachuk's been playing really well. Batherson's. It's inconsistencies throughout the lineup. And part of it's, there's a lack of confidence. There's stuff going on and with the team right now. There's guys that they know they're not scoring. Like if you look at Ridley Gregg right now, you look at Pinto, for sure. Like it's not like guys are going out and trying not to do well. It's just realizing the situations you're in and understanding. Like you watch it, sometimes when you're on the ice wall, you just assume things, right? So it's the end of the period. You've never played Anaheim this year. You don't really know a lot about those teams' defensemen. And now they're like, wow, they got a couple good D back there that can skate. So you kind of take it for granted that guy is just going to come to the red line. He's going to dump it in instead of jumping by 2 guys in neutral zone and then turning a 3-on-3 into a 4-on-3. And that's just, unfortunately, it's learning and understanding situations, especially late in periods. But it's happened too many times. It's not just it's everybody on this team is doing stuff like that, but it's amazing, Wally, because there's so many little things in games that if they're not done correctly, they turn into big things. And to me, I watch this team in the neutral zone. They got to be way better than neutral zone. They got to make it so much tougher for teams to come through.
Okay.
And
lots of questions. Then is that a coaching issue? The chats.
No. They go through it all.
Travis Green either fired or they want changes.
I'll guarantee you they're watching this. They're watching this on video. And this is just like, this is a small like there's bigger mistakes going on in the games all the time. Every team makes mistakes. Players make mistakes all the time. The thing to me is when the Senators miss assignments or don't do their particular jobs, it's a key moments. Like key things happen. Another thing too is penalties 200 feet from your net. How many times is this team taking penalties 200 feet from their own net? You just can't take those. Like those are inexcusable penalties. And the Senators too often, and coaches will say this, you're going to take a penalty, hit somebody hard, run somebody over, fight somebody. Don't take a penalty 200 feet from your net. It's happened way too many times this year for a team, those penalties 200 feet from your net.
Okay. I just want to quickly get something, and I want to move on to Shane Pinto. Sorry. This show probably presented to you by Charm. Boy, Christmas is coming. Great idea as a Charm. Charm Diamond Center is proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and unbeatable pricing policy. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds, no pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing on approved credit. For more information, go to Charm Diamond Centers. Chosen forever, Charm Diamond Centers. So, Shane Pinto has been seen as a diamond in the rough, if you will. But lately, it's just been rough. He has now gone, he's gone 11 games without a point now, I think it is. His last 10 games, 0 points. This is since he's returned from injury, by the way. He's got points, hasn't got points in the last 11 games. Hasn't scored since game 1 of the season. It's currently the longest goalless drought of his career at 15 games, I think it is. However, I did think he was better last night, Yorkie. I thought he had a really good game for the most part. Yeah, except for the one goal you showed.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of times too, and this is as a defenseman, when you make a mistake, it's a lot more magnified because usually the mistake is made around your net. You lose coverage, and everybody will point at that. But like I said, there's mistakes that lead up to that. No, he was really good. Nobody's going to play a perfect game. Like there's mistakes made all over the ice. I just think when you get into a rut like this, Wally, it gets in your head. You start thinking about it. You're like, I got one goal. I haven't scored since the first goal of the season. And especially when you care, this guy cares. Like we know Shane Pinto, good kid, good player. He's going through. This is the biggest struggle so far he's had of his career. He's got a new contract. Probably came into this year with high expectations for himself. Now all of a sudden,
great camp.
And what makes it tougher, Wally? You see another right shot guy come into the lineup, and he's kind of taking your position on where you used to be in the lineup. He's now the guy getting tapped on to go on that second power play instead of you. And the guy I'm talking about is Adam Gaudette. So Gaudette's now getting those offensive looks, and hey, he's earned it. Like he started off on the fourth line and the third line, and he scored when he was in those positions. So I like Gaudette better on the third and fourth line. I just find he brings secondary scoring. It's a tough situation because you want to reward somebody like that. You want to reward guys for good play, but I don't necessarily like him on that top line. I like him better where he was before, but it'll work itself out. I do think Pinto will get out of this. I still think he's a good player. I just think he's going through a stretch where in the long run, it's going to make him a better pro down the road because he's going through a lot of adversity right now. But when this happens, Wally, you got to make things simple, simplify your game, shoot everything too. You know what I find with this team? You watched the game last night. How many times do they just not shoot the puck early in games? Later in the game, they just funneled pucks to the net and they're attacking and they're simplifying. But you just got to simplify when things aren't going well for you. And, it's unfortunate, but how does he get out of it? Well, hopefully when he does get one, they'll come in bunches.
So who then do you take out of, by the way, I don't know why you wouldn't put Gaudette there. All he does is score a goal. Like, I know what you're saying. He was never slated to be a top 6 player, but he's got 12 goals in the season. Like, who are you taking and putting in that spot, if not Adam Gaudette? There is no other option better than him at the moment.
Well, if you really want to get Pinto out of a slump, put him on right wing with Stutzle and Giroux. Honestly, that's what I would do. I would. put him on the right wing, and I would put Greg in that third line center role. That's what I would do.
But Ridley Gregg has he's my biggest disappointment for this year.
It might do two things for you. It might get him going as your third line center and just say, hey, don't worry about scoring. Just go out and be a pain in the ass to play against. Like, just go out and be who you are. Be Ridley Gregg, which is just hitting, disrupting. And when he plays that way, points usually follow. It's just, that's his identity, just being a real hard pain in the ass guy that the other team's talking about and hates. But no, it's.
But so Yorkie, we said at this year that this is going to be the most annoying team to play against.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not at all.
They're not.
I'm waiting for Ridley Gregg to just be a noticeable factor of being an ass. Even Brady Tkachuk of being more of a pain in the butt. We saw finally Nick Cousins, I think, playing that role, and we haven't seen David Perron in the lineup enough. But
yeah, personally for me, like, if I'd love a guy playing with Stutzle and if you're going to have Giroux there, I don't. Stutzle is an amazing player. He's playing fantastic. I would like more of a physical presence on that line, like somebody that's going to get on the forecheck, disrupt pucks, be like a harder guy to play against to complement Stutzle and Giroux. And no disrespect to Gaudette, like, he's done everything asked of him. I like him in the role of being a guy that's going to help those bottom two lines and bring some secondary scoring. Because right now, they're not getting much, although they did get the goal from Cousins. But I would like to see Ridley Gregg and Cousins play together. Like, it seems when Cousins gets emotionally invested in the game, like he did last night, like he saw his line mate get ran over, like it got him mad. Yeah. And then he started playing differently. He was on a mission. He was on a mission in the third period.
He has taken some undisciplined penalties for sure this year that have not gone,
and a couple unlucky. He's gotten a couple he hasn't deserved. Like the one in Toronto was not a penalty. The other one was.
So I mean, he knows he's had a few, but I think we'll see him come around. I just thought that was his best game he's played, and you could see what I think that goal really invigorated him a little bit. You could see the reaction.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So monkey off the back. But yeah, like, to your point, this team was supposed to be much harder to play against. They were supposed to be irritating. So put the irritants together. Like, obviously, your two guys that were supposed to be the most irritable guys are Ridley Gregg and Nick Cousins. Put those two. To me, that's personally what I would do. But and people that are saying that they're losing because of coaching, they're not losing because of coaching. Coaching has nothing to do. I guarantee you, they're going over videos, they're going over things, they're looking for a reason. These guys are at the rink all day long. Every team does the same thing, Wally. They're coaching, they're teaching, they're going over video. Like, it's this has to come from within. This has to come from the players. So the team was put together. I think everybody agreed a lot of these moves made over the summer were pretty good. And at the end of the day, it comes down to the players. The players got to be better.
So, right. And the moves that were supposed to be good haven't shown that. Like Michael Amadio, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to expect from him at this point. Maybe he's playing the way that they expect him to. I'm not sure. We haven't seen enough from David Perron, obviously. Nick Cousins hasn't been. Now, Nick Cousins is playing for the league minimum on the fourth line, and we're treating him like he should be a top
what do you
line
expect?
player.
He's a depth guy.
So I know he's had some moments where not ideal with his penalties and stuff, but he's a depth player. I don't expect him to play every game. Linus Ullmark, by the way, has been, I think, in the last few games, very, very good.
I think he's turned a corner here, Wally. He made some big saves in last night's game at key moments.
And the other part is they're not firing Travis Green 24 games into a 4-year deal. I don't know who
said they were going to fire him.
It comes up nearly every game, and it's been because they fired Jim Montgomery in Boston. Listen, that's a whole different. Jim Montgomery's in the last year of his deal. It's a whole different world. Ottawa's not paying a guy for the next 4 years not to coach the hockey team. So this Travis Green stuff is nonsensical to me.
No, he's not getting fired. This is how do they play 20 some games? 24
games.
No, it's No, there's zero chance Travis Green's getting fired. What needs to happen is this team needs to be from top to bottom. Like, how many times has there been a game where you said you're pretty well happy with everything? Where for the goaltenders played well, the defense played well, and the forwards, like all three facets of your hockey team played well. It's tough to remember, isn't it? Like we had times earlier on in the season where they weren't really getting the goaltending. Then the special teams kind of a little dry spell for a while. They really haven't. They've won some games where you're like, hey, how'd they win that game? And then they've lost some games. You're like, man, they should have won those games. It's been inconsistent since.
So Yorkie, I wasn't going to get into this today, but here's the thing: if we're not seeing this group take the next step, and let's make sure we're clear. The last 7 years aren't on Steve Staios and Travis Green and Michael Andlauer and Dave Poulin and everybody, because they weren't here. So this whole previous, we've waited 7 years for the turnaround. It has nothing to do with Steve Staios now. They're now building their team the way they want them to play. I think they need a shakeup in their core, because it just seems like that part of it, the intensity part, the love of the game, the will to win, the fight, all isn't there from this group. And I don't know that they know how to do that with the group that's currently assembled. That's my only concern.
It's a great question, Wally. And there's probably, if you look around the league, there's probably 25 teams asking that same question right now. Because how many teams right now are in the NHL really, what do you call it, above expectations, or performing on a level where they're, because nobody's completely happy, but how many teams would you really think, if you look at the standings, are happy?
The Flyers, I'll give the Flyers in there.
They're not happy. The Flyers aren't happy. The Flyers are never happy.
Well, the Flyers are never happy. That's just who they are.
I'd say
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota is like 10-1 at home or something ridiculous.
Yeah, Minnesota's having a great year. But you look like I'm this more so the Eastern Conference. Like there's a lot of teams, or like you look at what Boston's already fired their coach. But that's year 3 or year 4 with Montgomery?
So he's in the last year of his deal. Year 3.
Last year, yeah. So last year of his deal. And I watched that Boston game. That you look at that team, it was time. It was time to make a move there and change things up. And there's going to have to be some drastic decisions made in Boston, because they've got an aging core, and they've got they look slow. But we'll see. Easier said than done to move a core piece right now, because if you're going to move, let's just say for the sake of argument here, let's just say they wanted to move Josh Norris. Let's just say, okay, they're going to move Josh Norris. So right now you're going to move a guy that's coming off 3 shoulder surgeries, playing better right now. You're not going to get close to what his value is, because everyone's going to say, well, he's coming off shoulder surgery. So you're not going to, you're going to lose that trade, because you're not going to get value for him. Okay. And then people want to say, you want to trade Thomas Chabot. Okay. You're going to trade him right now with that contract when he's starting to play better. Again, it's you got, if you're gonna move out a major piece, you got to make sure you're getting some value back. And I don't know if you're going to get value back on those 2 pieces. For example, if you try and move them, because like you're not trading Stutzle. I know anybody can be traded, but I'm not trading him. I'm not trading Brady. People are down on Jake Sanderson right now. I'm not trading him either. That's just you're not going to get a premier player back at that age and what he can do for you. So then you get into the decisions. Well, who do you move? Well, I probably don't want to move Drake Batherson, because I love the contract and what you get for the contract. So then you're like, then you're just doing a trade to do a trade, because then you get down your lineup.
Here's the Claude Giroux, right? Last year.
It's not time to trade Claude Giroux right now.
But it's an easy piece. It's a piece you can move that people can see. Obviously, he's going to be wanted. There will be a market for him. That's my. There will. I don't think that's the shakeup, but there just needs to be something changed. It just seems like there's no urgency.
Well, especially for the fan base, because it's. Well, you did the graph there with the Novembers of how bad the Novembers would be, and this everybody was hoping it was going to be different this year, and it wasn't. The only silver lining I'll say is you haven't, because other Novembers you played yourself out of it. You were so far back. Let's call it 10 points, 12 points. I think they're 5 points right now back of Philadelphia with 1 game in hand. So they haven't necessarily played themselves out of it. They've made it much more difficult, but it's just
a 4-game homestand coming.
Yeah. So
But-
all is not lost. There's, if it was me and if I was going to think of making a move, I would give it a little more time. Watch how things play out. 4-game homestand. These are big games coming up. And to be honest, this road trip wasn't a complete disaster. You came out of it 500, which if you compare it to years past, it's actually not that bad. And you lost in a shootout to Anaheim. You had, if you want to look at things glass half full, you had a really good third period. Could have came out with an extra point, and you didn't. So I'd like to see what happens on this homestand.
Well, 4 winnable games, right? Detroit, Nashville hasn't played great, obviously, this year. The Islanders and Anaheim, which I think those are all 4, because they've got a miserable schedule coming up due to World Juniors, right? And what is it, 11 of 16 on the road? That's a grind for them. But I think if they win 4 straight, we're back here going, listen, we're back in it. I never doubted this team. It's the best group ever assembled. Leading Zolmark is exactly what we needed. Like, this is what I think they are, minus I don't think they have an identity at the moment, unless it's soft, is they are a team that's fighting to get into a wild card spot.
Yeah, and that's pretty well, that's where I had them pegged as. Like, if this team's in the mix come March, when you're getting closer to the playoffs, you're in striking distance to grab one of those wild card spots. Like, anybody that was thinking this team was going to be a top 2 team in the division, we're not being realistic. There's been too much change, and it's just that I thought they'd be a little bit better right now, Wally, but not much.
Sure.
I thought they would be probably 5 or 6 points better right now where they're at. Just
if all went well and there wasn't any injuries to like Zub and Perron, Pinto for a while, if all of that didn't happen and they were like Washington where they're exceeding expectations, sure, they could have been, absolutely. But reality is this is probably where they should be. I think they should be. We've all watched their games and we're biased. I think they should be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But Brady Tkachuk last night, by the way, was outstanding.
Yeah. 12 shots on goal again.
Listen, this is a respect factor for you that he refuses to take the franchise record in shots in a game. This is the 5th time now he has recorded 12 shots on goal, which ties your record-setting franchise mark set back in 1999.
Crazy. He was really good. I thought he was really good. I don't know if you watched the interview between periods. Gord Miller.
I watched it 3 times, to be honest.
Gord interviewed him. I'll give Gord credit because he said Brady answered the question, and Gord gave the one word "why." Basically, why are you guys not whatever the question, being consistent or doing the things? How? It was just how. How do you do it? And you know what? Brady came back, and you tell it's like, all right, enough's enough. Let's go out here and have ourselves a third period. And he did. Like, that's a good sign, man, when your leader plays like that and goes out and talk is cheap. Go out and do it on the ice. And he did it in the third period. He had one of his best periods of the year. And like I said, Stutzle he's been really good, Wally. Like, that's to me another, again, if you want to look glass half full at things, he has taken a step this year in his development to where he was. To where, and I still don't think he's done. Like, he still has some things to clean up defensively, but man, he can take some games over. And I love the will he's playing with right now. He's a special player to watch.
The one thing about Stutzle, because you can appreciate this as a D-man, every time he touches the puck, because he is so shifty he freezes you all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, right? Like, you don't know what he's going to do. And that's what makes him, I think, so dangerous to watch.
I'll tell you with Stutzle, and he's like what I like to call, he's like a triple threat player. So when you're a defenseman and he's coming down on you, he can beat you wide because he's fast enough. He can come to the middle and use skill to try and make a move. He can also slow it down. Like, there's 3 things you have to respect in He's shooting it pretty good right now too, Wally. Like he's especially when he whips around the offensive zone, when he comes around the net, and he circles in high on the blue line, and he comes in. Like he comes in at the net with his stick in a passing and shooting posture, so you don't know what he's going to do. Reminds me a little bit when Jaromir Jagr back in the day. Jagr used to come around on that offside board because he's a lefty, just like Stutzle, and you had to respect the fact he could pass it, he could shoot it, or he could dangle you. So there's those three things you have to think of with a player, right? Is he going to shoot it? Is he going to pass it? Or is he going to try and beat me? And Stutzle's got all three of those skills in his little toolbox. So it's just it's fun to watch, and he does it at such a high speed, Wally. That's the other thing too. Like a lot of players can do moves and shoot the puck. He does everything at an incredibly high speed, which makes it even tougher to defend.
I hope he gets to 100 points. Is what I hope for him.
It'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. Like, how about that move last night? He drew the penalty on it. Somehow he got out of the corner with the puck, and all of a sudden he's at the net. He got through. I think it was Killorn. Killorn ended up taking a slash on him.
Yep.
But he turns nothing into something by getting out of the corner, getting a shot. Then they ended up getting the 5-on-3 power play, and he ended up setting that one up too. So it's no, he's a special player to watch, Wally.
So how do we, Yorkie, be positive?
Well, I just told you, number one, you got a franchise player in Stutzle that makes guys around him better, and that's like, a building block a lot of teams don't have. A young center that can dictate the pace of the game and that can. He's sometimes worth the price of admission, right? You pay to watch those guys play. A lot of teams around the league don't have a guy like that. So there's number one. Okay. Number two, you got Brady Tkachuk, who, if this team ever does get to the playoffs one day, he's going to be that much more fun to watch. He's going to be an animal once that day comes, and hopefully it's sooner than later.
Tomorrow, by the way, we're going to break down. I know this wasn't supposed to be where we're going to talk about, but it just came into my head. I've been asked if you've seen people have tweeted about the NHL is doing a quarter century team for every team, top two lines, 2 D pairs, and 2 goalies. I've been asked to submit my list for the Ottawa Senators quarter century team. So tomorrow in the show, we are going to debate who should be on that team.
Oh, nice.
So if you can tonight, Yorkie, you can make up your list if you want. You can tell me who you think should be in and who shouldn't. It's interesting when you look. So this is from 2001 season to now. So it may not be everybody who you think should be on the list. So interested to see what people think. So that's tomorrow. By the way, this show proudly presented to you by Bet365. Open an account today with Bet365. Bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code NATION. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Download the app today.
And also this show brought to you by BEI. BEI is the company you need for equipment rentals, aggregate and topsoil, as well as custom crushing and screening, hot mix paving as well. Although you'll probably have to wait till the springtime to get your driveway paved. A little too cold now, Wally. So when you're planning your next project, please consider BEI for your aggregate supplies and all your needs. You can reach them at 613-432-1120 or at bonashirexcavating.com. BEI, as always, is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, and please remember to slow down in construction zones.
A couple of things to keep an eye on. One, the Ryan Kennedy, I believe, is the one that say looks like the Belleville Senators are moving to Hamilton, and that the Belleville will get an OHL team back.
I read that. Yeah, so it's going to happen, eh?
Well, I don't believe there's anything official, but usually if it comes out that way, it tends to be already likely a done deal.
Okay.
Not a surprise. Michael Landauer putting a AHL team in Hamilton, and is it still called it's probably not called the Cops Coliseum, but that's how old I am. I just remember the
that's when I played. That's what I so Canada Cup was in 1987. I was actually playing in Hamilton when that game was going on. The one of the greatest games ever when Libby scored that beautiful goal. But yeah, it was Cops Coliseum when I played there. I think we used to get about, well, it was brutal, 2,000 fans in an 18,000 seat arena.
Yeah.
It
It just looks empty, right?
Yeah, it's
Same in
better now.
Hartford.
Yeah. You ever do a game in Hartford?
Yes. So I did. Wade Redden played his. Was it because Wade Redden was playing? Redden was playing for Hartford because he got sent down. I think I went down to do a story on it. I also ended up there, and I think it may have been Sean Avery, I think, was playing in that game or something to that effect. There was something else going on. Anyway, I that was the only time I've been in Hartford, but it was fun. I was thinking back to all the times of the Hartford Whalers. Do you know that building, the roof collapsed at one point?
I do know that. And yeah, it was in a mall, the old Hartford building. You had to walk through the mall. You had to walk. So basically, you'd go to your hotel, walk through this mall, and all of a sudden, the mall had the hockey rink in it. And yeah, I played a couple games actually. I played one game for sure. I remember against the Hartford Whalers. They used to come out to this greatest song. What was the name of the song?
It wasn't Brass Bonanza, was it?
Yes, it was Brass Bonanza.
I wasn't sure if that was the goal song or not. I couldn't. I just knew it was one.
If you go online and you go on YouTube and you see just go Hartford Whalers Brass Bonanza, and there's a whole thing with the Hartford Whalers on it. It's so good. Hey, you mentioned Sean Avery. Do you notice? I don't know if you follow Avery.
No,
he's getting into the Yorkie vids business. Eh? He is just, oh boy, he is just hammering DJ Z-Bad in New York on his videos. Oh, it's
a lot of people are. He finally scored yesterday. That team's in a little bit of a disarray at the moment.
Yeah, it's a mess. So I think, Wally, I'm going to have to go back and do a post a Yorkie vids video to go over that goal from last night's game against. I just have to simplify it a little bit for people to understand a little bit better of exactly sometimes what happens in the neutral zone with the Senators.
So I can't remember now. On that goal, whose fault is it for not picking up the goal scorer at the end?
So what ended up happening on that was, so Hamonic
is it Amadio?
Well,
I think that's the one where everybody's just standing around watching.
Yeah, so Amadio can't get back in time because that defenseman jumped up so fast and he came around the other side. He ended up jumping by Cousins in the neutral zone. And then the problem is all the players on the ice, except for even the defenseman, everybody kind of relaxed because there was 10 seconds left in the period. So look where stop it there. Look where look at the gap. So this is the hard thing. When you're not good in the neutral zone, you don't allow your defenseman to gap up properly. And
right, but okay, so just go to the end though. I'm just curious.
So watch where Amadio is. There's Amadio right there. So he's coming back. Boom. So he can't actually get to that guy. Travis Hamonic originally had the first guy in front of the net. Pinto was back checking, and Pinto left the middle of the ice because he's going to get the guy that Hamonic had. It's once one mistake happens, somebody goes to do somebody else's job, and it's like a domino effect. One mistake turns into a second mistake. But the mistake that was made, it was a mental mistake. All five players kind of took their foot off the gas because they were assuming puck was going to get dumped in, the period would be over, and they just you didn't identify that there could have been a possible threat, and you didn't play to the final buzzer. And then all of a sudden, Hamonic's like, oh, shit, here comes this guy down the side. I'm going to have to go over now, and I'll block this shot, and bam, the threat will be over. He doesn't get to block it. Then there's a rebound, and all of a sudden, one guy's left wide open. So it was to me, the mistakes, the key mistakes happened in the neutral zone. There were two flybys. The first flyby was Pinto.
Yeah.
The second flyby was Cousins. And because you hear this all the time, but when you watch replays, you just watch around the net. Like, damn, but he didn't have his guy. But there was a sequence that led up to that. And if the sequence would have been done properly, you never should have been in that situation. And it's just, that's what happens too. Like most guys don't even know who this defenseman is that ends up scoring the goal for Anaheim. I think he's played a couple years in the league. I think he played at the University of Minnesota. Like, good young player, but you just think it's a young defense. You think, it's a young player. going to dump it in. He's going to play safe. No, he's not going to play safe. He's jumping up into the rush because Anaheim they're a little bit unpredictable. You don't know what you're playing against. So it's just mental mistake late in the period and not playing till the final till the clock hits zero. And that's happened. How many times have they got scored late in periods this year, Wally? This isn't the first time.
No, it's not ideal. No.
It's happened numerous times, but that to me, those are mental mistakes.
I'm a tad bit concerned more for the fact that they've allowed the first goal 15 of their 24 games.
Yeah. It's tough.
Like, it's tough to always play from behind, Yorkie.
Well, look at the stats. You saw the stats in last night's game. When you're chasing the game, I think when Ottawa does, what were they when they don't score first, it was something like 1-8 or something. Like, it's so tough in this league because you're chasing the game all the time. And then add in the fact you give up goals late in periods. Like, there's every coach I've played for, it is taboo to give up a goal in the last 2 minutes. They're momentum killers. But hey, that's what I like, the fact that Ottawa jumped back in the first period, and that's why to put the shoe on the other foot, Anaheim gives up a goal first within the first minute of the period. So great sign for Ottawa, but it's just they have to clean up those little things of their games where they give up late goals and they have mental lapses where they don't read the situation as a threat, and all of a sudden it ends up in the back of your net.
Okay. Sorry, Jake is talking to me.
Jake, we're not talking about the Habs.
Well, it's funny because on this date, I forget the year, whatever. So this is the game today, December 2nd. Patrick Waugh allowed his 9 goals and played his last game for the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh,
so
is that when he came on the bench? And
that's right.
Mario Tremblay was the coach and the owner of the Canadians right behind
Ronald Corey. Was it Ronald Corey?
Yeah, he looked right at him and he said, I'm never playing again for this team.
I have played my last game. But on a positive note, December 2nd, 2021, Anton Forsberg tied the Senators record for most saves in a win, set by Craig Anderson in a 1-0 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anderson said it in a 1-0 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Forsberg and Anderson have both made 47 saves in their respective games, with Forsberg beating the Hurricanes 3-2. So there's some positivity. It sounds like the World Junior roster for Team Canada camp invite is coming out today. I don't know if the players have been told, but I am told there are some glaring omissions, if you will. So we will find out if that's going to be the case.
You got some insider information, Wally? Are you an insider?
I'm not an insider. I was just told that there might be a surprise for Sens fans, so we shall see. Yeah.
When's the announcement coming out?
I'm told it's today, although there's nothing official that I've seen from Hockey Canada on when the roster is going to be announced that I'm aware of. Quickly, Jay, can we just go back for the hot for the holidays? I just want to remind people, if you joined late, okay, so Gabriel Pizza has joined Coming In Hot family. And we are kicking off with the Gabriel Pizza Coming In Hot for the holidays. 12 straight shows of prizes. So on social media, tag Gabriel Pizza and use Hot for the Holidays, hashtag Hot for the Holidays. You should see there are on each Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky, there is a graphic. You just have to go underneath it and tag Hot for the Holidays. Eric is going to, I think he's going to. He's got a pinched nerve today in his neck. He's going to manage all of it and pick a winner tomorrow. Today's prize, 2 tickets to the Detroit game this Thursday for the Pizza Line reunion, plus a $50 gift certificate from Gabriel Pizza, by the way, who make the best pizzas in town. And they have the best promotion with the Send Score 4. You get 40% off your small pizza. Had many a pizza in my time.
Oh, you know what? Okay, here's a question that just divides this. It just divides people right down the center. You know we're gonna
Maybe
ask
a
you, don't
pizza
you?
topping. Is there olives or pineapple or something on your pizza?
I can't stand olives. Olives is one of the foods I just can't. I'm not
It
an
might
olive
be
guy.
the worst food ever invented.
We agree on. Look at you, Wally. Olives. 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 Oh my wife loves olives. I can't stand them.
So does
Chicken.
mine.
Oh, they're disgusting.
So she puts it on half the pizza, but that's never, they don't, when they make the pizza, obviously, they don't specifically go exactly half. So every once in a while, I bite into an olive. I despise olives. You can put anything else in my pizza, but not olives.
My Gabe's go to thin crust.
Oh, yes.
Chicken, pineapple, red peppers.
That's not bad. I don't mind. Like, I don't
Or I
mind
could take the
pineapple.
red peppers and I just go for like some little red onion, chicken, pineapple, thin crust.
The thin crust for me was, when I noticed it, was a game changer. It's always thin crust from now on. I
The
love
thin crust is the best. Yeah, I'm a thin crust guy. Sometimes even go
and
like
I do like the Sens pizza, actually, with the pepperoni on top. It's very, very good.
Yeah. But you a pineapple guy?
No, like I won't, if it's there and there's no other pizza available,
But it's
and
not
I
the
can't
same.
pick it off, then I'll eat it.
But it's not an olive situation where you're just.
No, I despise. I'll pick the olives off the pizza. I won't pick the pineapple.
But
off.
the thing when you pick the olives off the pizza, the olive taste still remains.
It's still there.
It's still there, and you can't get rid of it.
I'm like, damn it, Lisa. So now she gets them on the side in a cup, and then puts them on afterwards.
See, maybe we're not that different. You and I agree on olives. There's some common ground here.
All right, so we're back tomorrow. We haven't actually discussed a showtime. The Sens have today off. They will be back on the ice tomorrow morning. We'll let you know later today what time the show is tomorrow, and then we will tell you the prize for day 2 of the Coming In Hot for the Holidays contest presented by Gabriel Pizza.
Sounds
Yorkie,
good.
have a great day. Thanks everybody for joining us. And by the way, let's all just be a little more positive on our Senators. We still are lucky to have them in the city.
100%.
See you, everybody.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.